Hello everyone. This early part of the video is going to be for those of you who missed the live stream but come in to check out the video later on. I realize that most people are probably going to miss this intro part, so I'm not going to just jump right into all of the main information. I'll just give a quick setup right quick to let you know what I'm going to be talking about. I mean, the title is pretty clear. I've now been in, as of tonight, uh, as the clock rolls over at midnight, I will be here. I will have been here 40 days in Hiroshima City Hospital. I'm sitting on the first floor lobby. It's very quiet now. I had to wait a few minutes because they were closing some metal doors and it was very loud. For like 5 straight minutes, they run the same announcements over and over and over again to let everybody know that things are closing and to leave or whatever. And it just echoes through the whole building and it's ridiculously loud. And then after that, all the metal doors come down. And of course, that's loud as well. And after that's finished, oh, hey, Glenn, good to see you. And Koji, good to see you. Thanks, guys, for stopping in. I appreciate it. Um, anyway, after all of those things finish, it becomes quieter down here. And I was thinking about making this video upstairs on the roof because in my room there are other patients. I didn't want to bother them. That's why I didn't make my video there. But the connection is not so good there either. So that's another reason. But I wanted to be on the roof. I can actually go up to the roof and get a beautiful view of the city. But as you can see, I'm in, just shorts, got my compression sock on my leg there, and I've got a short sleeve shirt on. It is a little chilly outside tonight. I really need a jacket if I want to go on the roof. It's not only chilly up there, the wind is blowing, so I would need to wear a jacket and some pants. The pants I have, the jacket I don't. When I came here, it was hot. So it has turned to fall outside as I have a view of the park. Everything was green when I first got here, and now everything is like green and yellow and orange and red and all these different colors, the beautiful colors of autumn. Fall is here for sure, and it's starting to feel and look like your typical fall weather. It's very awesome outside, and I really wish I could be out there. Uh, yeah, I still haven't been to Okinawa, Glenn. I really want to go. I really do. I hope maybe one day I can visit with you there. I know it's an area that you really like. Yeah, I could probably get you to give me the local gaijin tour, I'm sure. But I wouldn't know what a weather change is like in Okinawa. Maybe it would be so mild that I wouldn't even notice it. But here it's definitely substantial, it, especially for shorts and a t-shirt. Um, but anyway, I didn't want to just update. I mean, there are two main things. One is my health situation. I wanted to give an update on that. As you can see, I'm not in a wheelchair. I'm sitting on a bench here. There's a little cove here. Forgive me, I don't have a gimbal or a tripod or anything, so I'm going to try to hold the camera as still as possible. But this camera is better than the one I've used in the past, so it is a little better, I think, for doing these sorts of videos and live streams, so hopefully it's good for you. But this is just a little cove, a little alcove on the first floor where you can sit down and relax and enjoy the artwork. And this hospital has artwork all over the place, all the way through it. There's a ton of it on the first floor. Most of it is on the first floor. So even if you have no reason to come to the hospital for a health check or anything like that, you could still come here and check out the art. You can just walk in the front door and walk around the first floor and check out all the art. I think it's really cool. Most of the artworks that they have here are really large, which I think is awesome. Um, I don't think I've ever been to an art gallery where they have so many large artworks in one location. So I do recommend that. I know it sounds weird, but if you're in Hiroshima and you have, maybe an hour to kill and you're around here, just right by the castle, or actually right on the other side is Sogo and the shopping center there. if you're ever in this area and you have like an hour to kill, you can always go into Hiroshima City Hospital and check out the artwork. So there you go. Now, that has absolutely nothing to do with the reason I'm making this video, but I might as well go ahead and let some of you know this is another option for some things that you might can see or do while you're in the city, because Hiroshima has some main things for you to see, some main things to eat, and some main things to do. But it's not like Tokyo, where it can take years to do everything that there is to do and see and eat. But I will say that there's some awesome food here. I think Koji, you know that. You and I have had some awesome food here, and so you don't have to worry about getting good food. You can definitely do that in Hiroshima. But anyway, getting into the update on my health situation, like I said, I'm sitting here on the bench because I walked down here. I only brought my headphones, my phone, and some coffee, and that's it. I don't even have my walking cane. So I would say the past week or so, I've been getting around just by walking without a cane or a walker or a wheelchair. And for those of you who may not know, when I first got here 40 days ago, I could barely get in the front door. When I was driving here to the hospital, I was in such bad shape that I nearly drove off the road a couple of times. And the parking lot is right on the other side of this wall, right out here. And I parked there, and I had to walk over here this way, just maybe 100 feet, or I'm not sure, maybe, I don't know, what is that in meters? I'm not really sure, but yeah, not far, okay? And I walked very slowly, but I was in such bad shape that I thought I was going to collapse. And when I got to the front door, the doorman saw me and he came over to ask me if I needed help. And I said, yes, please. And I pointed at the wheelchair because I don't know the Nihongo, the Japanese for wheelchair. So I pointed at the wheelchair and he brought me a wheelchair. And from there, I was able to wheel myself to the elevator and go up to see the doctor. And within just minutes, they had me on the bed and were sending me around to get me checked out, and very quickly admitted me to a room, put put me on an IV drip, put me on a lot of pain medication, and the next day they ran a barrage of tests to figure out what was going on, and they found out that I had basically what's called DVT, which is deep vein thrombosis, and simply it just means that I have in my leg, deep in my leg, I have veins that have clots, and I had no idea that clots caused so many freaking problems, and that they could debilitate you for such a long period of time. And I think you have all heard of the danger of clots, but whenever you hear about people talking about clots, usually you hear about brain clots, lung clots, heart clots, things like that, that cause the really, really big problems that are life-threatening or completely life-altering. They can cause things like strokes, heart attacks, lung, I don't know how to phrase it, but they can cause lung failure, basically. They can kill you, and very quick. So whenever you have clots in your leg, that's not as serious, but it's like, you could say it's on the path to having clots in more, I don't want to say important, but it really is, because your heart, your lungs, and your brain are definitely more important than your leg. You can live without your leg, but you can't live without your organs. So, but it's kind of on that path to danger, big danger. And so the doctor informed me of all the things that could happen if I go back to the countryside, to my house by myself in this condition, and I'm not close to the hospital, and no one is immediately around me, no one is living with me. He said that At any time, something could happen, and he's worried about that. And that's the primary reason why he's kept me here, because where do I go, when I leave here? It's not like I have a wife to go home to, or I don't live next door to my brother or something like that. I don't live right around the corner from the hospital. I mean, the nearest hospital is 40 minutes from me, and I'm not even sure that one. Well, maybe Saijo, 40 or 45 minutes to Saijo. Um, yeah, yeah, as long as it stays in your legs. Yeah, it's definitely a lot safer if they stay in your legs. It can be debilitating, but it's definitely much, much safer than it being up here in your torso. That's for sure, you're right. But anyway, if I lived in Saijo, or if I lived in the city, or in any city that has a hospital that's capable of dealing with my particular health problem, then it's not as big a deal. But since I'm so far out and by myself, they think, well, if something happens, nobody will know, and you'll just die there. And who knows when they'll find me, you know? So he said until he feels confident, he doesn't really want to let me go. And just to give you an idea, because I thought maybe last week before the weekend, maybe he would think about letting me go. But this week I realized something. Okay, and this is what I wanted to share. And I realize, for those of you who haven't subscribed to my channel, or who don't know me or don't know me well, maybe this video isn't very interesting for you or whatever, but there was something that I wrote and I was going to share it with you, but unfortunately I can't read it and have this live stream going at the same time, because I don't have a separate device to look at it. But I can pretty much remember what I wanted to say, which is one main thing. The main reason I decided to make this video, besides giving a quick update and of course letting you know about the one part in the hospital, is because I don't want to say that I feel lonely, but I'm a person who really enjoys their alone time, but also really enjoys being with people. And those of you who are friends of mine, Glenn, you and Koji are two of those. You guys know that I like being with people, and when people come to see me or come visit with me, especially people that I've gotten to really care about, friends, okay? I have to be around these people. And even my new girlfriend, I don't get to see her much. I've seen her twice, and she's supposed to come again this weekend, so I'm really looking forward to that. But um, I I need to feel like I'm still connecting with people outside of here. I mean, I'm lucky I have my hospital counselor that's here, Yonezawa-san, my doctor. The nursing staff are just really awesome. They are really, really great. And anything I need, they're on it. They're constantly checking on me. I mean, even today, I was sleeping in the afternoon. I was sound asleep, and I was just absolutely snoozing and getting a good rest. And they came in and woke me up to check my temperature, my pulse, my blood pressure, and check to see what medicines I've taken and if I was having any pain and stuff. And they do that a few times throughout the day, and that's good. But it's like, they're so on top of their schedule and checking on me, that it's really it's really great and amazing. But it's not like one. They're not my friends. I don't know them very well, and they don't come in and sit down and chat with me and hang out with me for a few hours. Or it's not like people maybe back in your like, if I'd been here, living here for 10 or 15 years, I'm sure that I would have uh, a lot more uh, local friends and things like that, and I'd have people coming to visit, and but that's another thing. Their policies here, but get into that. I just want to say that typically, if you're in one place for a while in one city, maybe you'll get cards and flowers, and you'll get visits from people and stuff like that, and you won't necessarily feel alone. And some people will have family come stay with you for a while, so you literally won't be alone. You'll have somebody with you. And I don't need somebody here all the time, and most days I don't need somebody here. But regularly, it does feel nice to be able to reach out and connect with somebody. And I decided to do this video just as a way to kind of reach out and connect with you guys, and not just update those of you who care about me and who are following my situation, but also for me, just to, help me out and share with you what I'm going through here, and not just with my health and the situation at the hospital, but also things that are going on as a result of what's happening here. But like I said earlier, this week, I all I needed to do was go out of the hospital for maybe 30 minutes or 45 minutes to get to the Mizuho bank to make a deposit from one account to my Mizuho account, because it has my debit card and I need that to, just a long story short, I needed to make some transactions online. It's my only online card. Of course, I know that I can't just walk out there alone. So I asked the doctor about going. The cool thing is that he's actually going to take me there himself tomorrow. So tomorrow morning before lunch, he's going to walk with me down to the bank and help me to make that deposit, and then walk me back to the hospital, because I can't do that alone. That's amazing. That would never happen in America, not unless you were at a country hospital or something. You were out in the country somewhere, and then maybe the doctor, the countryside doctor, would do that, maybe way back in the old days. But that the doctor here in the city, and he's the main doctor. He's not just one of the doctors. He's the leader here. So that he would do that himself is absolutely amazing. But the point, I mean, that's a cool story that I wanted to share. But the point of this, of me mentioning this, is that he's absolutely not confident in me leaving the hospital by myself right now, without someone else being around me. And so that's why I'm still here. And that being said, it means that I have absolutely no idea when that time will come. And here's the reason why. It's this leg. I know you can't see it on the video, probably, but this one here, even though I have been able to assist it with the compression sock and the way I sleep, and sometimes I go walking, sometimes I keep it elevated, I try to keep moving, and I also have an EMS device that sends kind of some electrical charges through my leg. The combination of those things, plus they give me blood clot, not like anticoagulant. It's like a blood thinner, and so the combination of all those things helps my situation. But the swelling in this leg here is pretty high, because this is where the clots are, and it's rather fat compared to this leg. If the screen is too bright for my pasty whiteness, I'm sorry, but this leg is quite a lot bigger than this one. And when will that heal? When will that fix? The answer is, who knows? It could be weeks, it could be months, it could be years. From what I read online, it could be a really long time. And even one of the younger doctors, who doesn't have very good bedside manner, in my opinion, yes, I still have the oversized clown shoes. These things are like, I understand the reason, because my left foot is so swollen, it can't really fit into the right size. And so it makes my feet look ridiculous. But it also has the downside of making it difficult to walk. I feel like a duck. I'm always tripping over my feet, and I walk ridiculous. But anyway, what I was saying is that The prognosis for when I can be over this is a big question mark. And because of that, I'm just kind of stuck here right now. And anyway, how does that connect with my outside life and what's going on, with my plans? Well, originally, that my plan was to go to school this fall, and I was supposed to start this coming Monday in just a few days. But that is looking practically impossible. So if I tell the language school that I'm not coming and I'm not going to go there, I'm not going to be able to enter and go to school this fall, then what's going to happen? And I just found out some of this detail today through my counselor from the immigration office. Give me one moment, please. I'm a little dry, my throat. I haven't been talking so much recently, I guess, because my throat, my mouth, it feels a little dry, scratchy. I don't normally talk to myself. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Anyway, this is what I found out. Right now, my residency is student, okay? If I don't go to school and I tell the language school I can't come because of my health condition, then what they will do is contact the immigration office and say that I'm not, Brandon isn't attending classes as planned. And then the immigration office will want me to immediately or as soon as possible come down to the office and change my student residency to basically visitor or temporary visitor, okay? And for Americans like me, that means 90-day stay, 90-day temporary stay. I don't yet know what the grace period is between the time they report it and the time I actually have to go down to the immigration office before I get in trouble. I asked that question in my email earlier, but she's not going to see that until tomorrow morning, so I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know if it's, because if they say as soon as possible, nah, that's not good enough for me, because I'm not going to go down there as soon as possible. I'm going to go down there if I have to go down there, but I'm definitely not going to go down there to give up my residency as soon as possible. So I don't, when they say that, that's stupid. I don't accept any government official telling me as soon as possible. I want them to tell me the law, and so I'm waiting to hear what the policy is. Is it a week? Is it 30 days? What is it? I need to know that. So I'm waiting for that information. Don't know that yet. But whatever it is, within a certain length of time, I'm supposed to go down there, and at that point, they basically take away my residence card and give me temporary visitor status, which is 90 days. So they said within that 90 days, I either find another school to go to and then reapply for my student visa, or I get a job and get another work visa, or I get married and get a spouse visa. And if I don't get any of those, then before the end of the 90 days, just like a regular tourist or temporary visitor, I would have to exit Japan. So, and of course, I could leave and come back and have another 90 days if I needed to take care of some things in my house and stuff like that. But that's not the point. Here's the point. Because I'm a resident, I have health insurance. I'm required to have health insurance. Whether you're a student or a worker or whatever, if you have any residency in Japan, you're required to have health insurance and pay into the health insurance system. You can have it with a private company or you can have the national health insurance, but you have to have it. Currently, I have the national health insurance. Because of that health insurance, I am in the hospital being treated for something that could kill me. Okay? Do you see where I'm going with this? The doctor isn't even confident about letting me leave the hospital to go home. He's not even confident to let me go to 1 block away to go to the hospital by myself, even if I offered to go in the wheelchair. No, because it's too dangerous. And yet, even though I have a life here, I've been here for almost 4 years. I've worked here for 3.5. I have a house. I have a car. My entire life is here. I've been living abroad in Asia for almost 11 years. I have nothing back in America. I have no one to support me there. I have nowhere to go. Um, my insurance, my health care, and because of my insurance, it's not just covering the majority of my hospital stay. I mean, I still have to pay some, but the amount that I have to pay is not only lowered, it's also capped. So I don't have to pay beyond a certain amount for any 30-day period. So within 1 month, I can't be charged more than a certain amount. It's a way to protect the patients from being destroyed with a situation like the one I'm in right now. It's an excellent setup, I think. So I will praise Japan for that. I haven't seen anything like it. I would not be able to. Health situation with my kidney cancer, because that's another thing I'm still dealing with. I still have a large tumor on my kidney. And what I said in the thing that I wrote, and I'll share with you now, is that my my kidney tumor likely contributed to my my clot, because that's what cancer does. Cancer and cancer tumors, they can cause and contribute to the formation of clots in the body. That's a fact. But it can also cause that to be an ongoing problem. So I've got these two issues going on at the same time. But before I ever had the clot issue come up, I was already on medical leave. In other words, I was getting paid around 60% or so of my salary to be at home and try to recover from my cancer tumor. And then this clot issue came up and put me in the hospital. So I'm actually in the hospital for a leg clot issue that's threatening my life, even though I still have, the kidney cancer tumor to deal with. And that's not the thing that's immediately threatening me right now. However, if I go down to the immigration office and turn in my residence card and they swap me over to a temporary visitor, and then I lose my insurance. Now think about that. The doctor doesn't even want me leaving the hospital, and I know that I'll still be here at the hospital when the classes start on Monday. So even if I wanted to start classes, I physically can't. And even with all of this information that's easily discoverable and knowable by the immigration office and the officials there, they don't care. They literally don't care about any of those things. All they say is, this is the policy. We can't do that. We can't do this. We can't do that. So this is the situation. The doctor's afraid of me leaving the hospital because I could die. And yet, immigration says, we want to take away your residency and take away your health insurance and take away your medical benefits, your monthly payments, and send you out of Japan, even though you have nothing anywhere else. Because they don't care about any of that. That's literally the situation I'm in. Now, I don't know about you, but for a country that is supposedly first world, I would expect that this would be considered inhumane. That's that's my feeling. I would expect something like this, if I were in a similar situation in China, or a country like that. I'm not trying to just bash on China or any other country. It's just that, based on their systems and my familiarity with how things are run, and the the modern ideas, and the way they do things there versus here, why can't they actually take a look at the situation and the facts of the situation, and then make determinations based on that, rather than just saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do." So, what I did earlier today was contact the local International Support Center for Foreigners. They have immigration specialists and lawyers and things like that. And I've got a consultation for Saturday morning, and I'm going to see what they say and take their advice. I've used them for consultation on other matters before, including the katana that I found because I didn't know legally what I was supposed to do with it, as well as some other things. They've helped me out before, so I'm going to speak with them on Saturday and see what can be done about this situation, because it doesn't make any sense. Because the way it looks is that if if the doctor in my condition, he doesn't even want me to be leaving here or going home alone because of the danger that I'm in with my situation, and no known prognosis for when it's going to be better. And yet the government office is more than happy to say, sorry, you have to leave the hospital anyway, and you have to leave the country if you can't either get a job or go to school. This seems nothing short. I just have to say, it sounds inhumane to me. I mean, you can tell me if you have a different feeling about it, but that's the way I feel. The word that comes to mind over and over again is inhumane. I can't imagine them doing this to anyone else. It just happens to be me in this situation, but anyway, I'm going to look at your comments real quick. Glenn, I see you're saying some stuff, so let me take a look. Okay, Glenn says, quietly wandering. A change of visa application gives you a 2-month period from date of submission for the immigration office to respond. Doesn't answer question about grace period to get visa change in place. A change of application. Are you talking about changing your residency from one to another? That I don't have to do that right now. That this isn't a change of residency. It's them canceling my residency and then giving me 90 days. From that point, they give me 90 days of temporary uh, um, a temporary visitor status. You said also other sites suggest 2 to 4 weeks immigration decision time. Still can't find anything about grace period after school. Advises no show to classes. Well, yeah, you found that on websites, but here's the thing. My counselor here at the hospital literally contacted the immigration department, and they've been busy, but they did call her back earlier this afternoon, and they told her specifically that if I withdraw from the school, okay, meaning I can't go to my classes as planned this fall, then the school, as soon as they know that, they will call immigration or contact them directly to let them know that I'm not attending. And at that point, immigration wants me to come down to have my residency immediately basically revoked and changed to temporary visitor. So we're not talking about a change of residency. We're not talking about a change of like a period of 2 to 4 weeks for a change, and then another 90 days. No, it's like from the day I come down there, I get 90 days. But it might even be 90 days from the day that the um, school contacts immigration. From the day they contact them and say that I'm not attending, that 90 days might start ticking from that time. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, not at all. But how much time do I have to go down there from the time that the school contacts immigration? That's what I don't know. That's the only thing that I really don't know. But whether the clock starts ticking from the day that they contact them, or whether it starts from the day I go down there, it doesn't matter to me. To me, either way, it's ridiculous, given my situation. But anyway, it's not like I had a 30-day stint in the hospital and I got out and I'm sore, but I'm gonna be okay, and I'm just moving around like an old man with a cane for a while, and I can still go to class just because I've done that before. I've had major surgery before twice, and still gone to do things. I had a huge major hernia surgery to repair two hernias, and I still went back into my university classes. I know what it's like to go to school uh, being sore and in pain. I know that. But we're not talking about a situation like that. We're talking about a situation where um, they don't even want me to go out right now, and they're not even sure. They can't tell me when that time will even come. So, given that information and that I'm literally completely dependent upon my medical leave, my monthly medical support payment right now, I don't understand their logic. Because when I try to give them that info, they're just like, they literally just brush it aside. I was there the other day, and when I talk to them, they're just like, but we there's nothing we can do. But there's nothing we can do, and it sounds ridiculous because, yeah, for the regular average person who comes in there who just says, oh, I broke my leg, and now it's in a cast and I'm sore. It's difficult for me to go to school and I can't go. Well, it's not a big deal for that person um, to go to school anyway, or if they can't, to go back to their home country. But you're talking about a guy who's built his life here, and now my health is in a situation where I, I don't even know how long it's going to be before they're confident that I can go out and do the things that I need to do without worrying about a sudden uh, health issue that threatens my life within seconds or minutes. And to just leave, and they say stupid things, and I can understand that 95% probably of the people that they deal with, maybe they have completely similar situations where they can just go back to the US or go back to their home countries, and they have family there, and they have, maybe they were just here for a short time or whatever, and when they say just go back to your family, you go back to be with them and have them support you and get better, and later on when you feel good, come back to Japan. What are they talking about? It's like they don't even listen to me at all, because that's not my situation, not even a little bit. So it's ridiculous. I'm about to have to get up and start walking. I shouldn't sit for this long, but I want to read your comments first, and then I want to walk down there to the end. I think it'll be quiet, and hopefully we'll still have a good connection. Uh, Philippe says it does sound inflexible and inhumane. Yeah, according to what they're telling me, it does absolutely, and that's why I contacted the support center with the specialist and the lawyer. We'll see. Hopefully, I can hear some good news on Saturday. Um, Glenn says change of visa type, student to tourist. Yes, it needs to be sorted out. Yeah. Hi, John Paul. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you joining. Program to follow the rules and not vary to any degree, no matter the circumstance. Yes, you're right, and that's actually one of the big problems here. And I'm not saying that government people in my home country or in other countries are awesome. It really depends on the person you're talking to. But I can say that overall in Japan, one of the things that they're really, I want to say addicted to, but I think it's more about kind of being not brainwashed. There's another term that I'm looking for. it's been kind of beat into their skull, which is there's a way to do everything that's already been established, and you have to do it that way. And for anyone who is in Japan for a substantial length of time, especially if you come here and you work here, as you spend more and more time dealing with colleagues and people around you, you'll begin to experience and witness this culture of we have to follow the established ways and steps of doing things. A leads to B, B leads to C, C leads to D. And when you walk in and you say, but C doesn't exist, it doesn't process. And I have some good friends, and I always think of Koji when I think of situations like this, and I've told my other friends this maybe 1,000 times. If I were dealing with Koji in a situation like this, he would understand it immediately, and he'd say, yeah, bro, I know what you're saying, I understand. And so just for example, if Koji were working at the immigration department, and I told him my situation, he would say, oh man, yeah, I get it. This is a difficult, different situation. So let's try to figure out, yeah, exactly. Let's try to figure out how we can help you in this situation. That's exactly what he would do because he understands and he gets it. He has a completely different mindset. He does not think like that we have to follow the ABC 1, 2, 3 policies, procedures, or rules or whatever that are established, whether written or just spoken or unspoken social rules. He knows that puts you in a box and limits your thinking and your ability to adapt to unique situations and make better decisions and help people and generally create a better world and make things open to change, because I'm not saying that all change is good. It's possible to change what you're doing and it doesn't work or it makes things worse. But when I say change, what I mean is growth. And when you grow, it means you learn and you become better. And there is a lot of room, ironically, for growth in Japan in this particular area, where they just stay stuck on one thing for too long and one way of doing things. And when you come in and your situation doesn't fit that, they still will force it. They'll try to force it into that mold. And it's so difficult to deal with. And I was just having this conversation not long ago with Evelyn, where we were talking about a situation here at the hospital where the doctor told me that one thing was okay. And then later on, I asked the nurse about it, and she said, no, we can't do that. And so the next day, I asked the doctor again. I told him the nurse told me we can't do that. And he laughed. He said, yes, of course you can. That's silly. But the reason she told me that we couldn't do that is because she told me, because I just wanted to use the bathtub for a hot bath. A hot bath takes away my aches and pains. It makes my kidney feel better. And it just so happens that I had a lot of kidney aches for 2 or 3 days recently. And whenever that happens, normally I go to the onsen. The onsen is like the perfect place to go and relax. And sorry about that. It seems I lost my connection for a moment. Maybe that's a good time for us to try to move. But anyway, if you're in Japan and you ever have any aches and pains or things like that, I highly recommend the onsen, because every time I come out, I absolutely feel better. While I walk, I'm going to put my mask on. I see some comments came up. I'll look at those again in just a moment. So let me be very quiet. Be very quiet and walk down here. I'll turn the camera around so you can see where I'm going. You guys might not know this, but here at this hospital, all the way down there to the right of the entrance, there's a cafe, a Dotor coffee cafe. And then down here on the first floor, they actually have a konbini, a Lawson convenience store. It's open 24 hours a day, so if you're in your room and you can't sleep, you can always walk down here and get something to drink. Isn't that interesting? Anyway, I'm gonna walk down there around that corner and sit there. I think there shouldn't be anybody down there, and I shouldn't disturb anyone. This is the front of the hospital. This is the parking lot I was telling you about. I was parked out here in my van, and the front entrance is right down there. I could barely make that walk. I was in such terrible condition. And Glenn, quietly wandering in the chat, he knows my van was out here because he was the one that was awesome enough to come all the way to Hiroshima and drive my van back to Toyosaka for me because I was getting charged 1,500 yen per day to have my van parked there. Ultimately, I had to pay around $200 because it stayed parked there for a while. But if it weren't for him, I could have spent a lot more. If you looked at the thumbnail of this video, there's a painting on there that I saw, and I took a picture and made it my thumbnail. It's right down here on this wall. I didn't see it for many days because they got it blocked off right here. But it's right in there. It's just a huge painting of a bunch of dolls. Pretty interesting, I think. Anyway, this long hallway goes all the way down to the elevator, and in this elevator it goes up to where my room is. But in this area here, basically no one is right around here, so I think I can sit here and not bother anyone. Oh, goodness. We'll wrap this up in just a couple of minutes. We'll finish up and then I'll go upstairs. Probably need to rest. Let me turn the camera back around. Okay, there we go. Got my goatee going on. Let me get caught up on your comments, guys. What are we saying here? They won't change. Quietly Wandering, Glenn says, they won't change the status quo. What has been done in the past is what will continue to be done now and in the future. Well, I hate to say that you're right, because I do believe it can change. It definitely can change, and I hope it does. But when, I don't know. Maybe my case will be the one that changes things. I don't know. I'd like to think that, but it doesn't make it a lot more enjoyable to go through. Purple Haze, thank you for joining. It says you should relax and not stress at the moment. Hopefully everything will turn out okay with the lawyer's help. Thank you very much. That's what I'm trying to do. I did wake up last night. Every night I wake up maybe around 4 or 5 times. I know it sounds like a lot, but the thing is, because of my kidney and everything, and the hardness of the bed, which is the soft bed they provided me. They changed the mattress to the soft mattress, but I still wake up if I sleep on my side. My hips, I'm not a woman, and yet my hips hurt when I wake up. So when I wake up, I have to pee, and sometimes I wake up because I have to pee. It's just the nature of the beast whenever you have an issue with your kidney. But I woke up last night and that was on my mind, the situation, and I just told myself over and over again, it's not a problem, it's not a problem, it's not a problem. The door will open, and I do believe that, because that is true. Whatever happens, I do believe that the right and best thing is going to happen. Whatever that is, it'll be all right. And everything is yeah, hey, how's it going? I think I haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for being here. You said that That was very kind of Glenn to do. Yes, and right now Glenn is over in Okinawa, and he's been out to my house a couple of times. One time without me, because he had to take my van out to Toyosaka, and um, he went out and he actually made a short video kind of comparing the way my house used to look a while back and the way it looked recently. I still think it. I mean, it's definitely much better, but I feel bad because the grass hasn't been cut in a while, so it still looks bad to me. But whenever I'm able to get it cut again, it'd be cool to take those videos that Glenn shot and compare those to how it looks now with the backyard cleaned up and the grass cut. But yeah, I do believe that. And with the lawyers and the immigration specialists, I do believe that something will pan out. We'll see. And I will definitely keep you guys updated on that. John Paul. Hey, John Paul, how's it going? This isn't quite the same type of live stream as, like Daniel and Yuka taking us around Kabukicho or Lemmy or Yuka-chan, maybe one of them taking us around Tokyo or to a shrine or something. But, um, you know, I'm kind of stuck here right now, so it is what it is. Maybe next time I update you guys, I can go up on the roof. Maybe I can do that during the day when it's warmer, because during the day it is sunny and warm. So I'll try to do that. Um, Koji says, "Be the change you want to see in the world," which you're already doing, of course. That's very kind of you to say. I feel the same way about you, Koji. For those of you who don't know, I've used a lot of Koji's music in my videos, but Koji and I are friends. We've known each other for a while, and he plays live a lot. If you're ever around Tokyo, there's a really good chance you can go see him play live. And the main thing that I like about Koji's music is that he's one of the few artists that I've seen live who really comes from his soul. His music and his message really comes out very pure, honest, sincere, and heartfelt. I can just feel it in the way he expresses himself when he speaks and when he sings. So that's why I love Koji and his music. So what he just said is like that's who he is. He is the change that he wants to see, and he's doing that through his music. And I believe in him and his music. Koji's my brother. Uh, it's not a problem. It's just another challenge. That's right. It's just another thing for me to overcome. I was watching the Astros play the baseball game, and they had this one pitcher that they call in Spanish El Reptil, which basically means the reptile because he's so cold. And so even if he has an off night, he gets up there and he's throwing bad pitches, and everyone's hitting home runs off of him. It never phases him. It never bothers him. He's so cold. He's like ice. So one of the other guys said, even if you punch him, maybe it won't bother him. He just doesn't get upset. He's just always cool as a cucumber. And that's the way I want to be in this situation. It was a wonderful drive in the countryside. I'm glad you had the experience. I remember the first time I was able to do that. It felt great. And I guess over time you take that stuff for granted. But I didn't drive a lot for a long time because I was in China for over 7 years, or about 7 years, and then being here, I was always using the trains and the buses and stuff like that because I was always in the cities, and so it was nice to drive again. Purple haze, yes, you'll figure it out, so don't worry too much. Stress can delay your recovery and affect your overall health. That's true, and honestly, that's even a lot deeper. And I'm sure you know this already, but what you said is a lot deeper than what most people realize, because I absolutely believe that the stress and the worry and the negative emotions that I've had over the years that I've either um, put out or held on to, that's what's caused my health issues, and I think that's the cause of health issues. People bring these things on themselves, and I'm not I'm not surprised that I have any of the health issues that I've had because whether it was a direct cause of my own or outside circumstances that I didn't handle very well, um, there's been a lot of stuff over these decades. I'm 48 now. I know that I look like I'm 25, but I'm 48 now, and I've been through, I would just say that I had an unsatisfactory childhood, a terrible first marriage, and with a really bad divorce. It really crushed me. I had my daughter taken away. She basically turned on me a few months ago, and it's just gone full sociopath on me. So I'm not talking to my own daughter. I haven't talked to her now for a while. And even after contacting my sister, after being pushed to do so by the doctor and the staff here, because in Japan they have this thing about they really think you should talk to your family, and maybe some of my family will watch this video. I don't know, but the thing is, and I'm not saying this to attack them. I'm just being honest. I've never had a good relationship with any of them. It's never been good. It's never, ever been good. It's either been horribly traumatic or it's been manageable. So at best, at any time, my relationship with my family members has been manageable. And that's at best. But most of the time, it's just abusive to me. And I'm not saying that I never did anything wrong to them. I've said some wrong things to them, and I've done some hurtful things. But I, myself, am not an abusive person. And I had to cut my family out. And that's why I don't have the family support that, for some reason, the people here think that I should have, that everybody should have. I mean, they're your family, right? They're your family. Of course, they love you. Uh, no, not everybody has such a family. I definitely don't. So, anyway, looking forward to more video updates. I appreciate you saying that. I really want to post videos of me cleaning the house and renovating the house and doing stuff out there and moving forward. And now I don't know. Some days I wonder if I'm even going to be here much longer. I'm not saying that because I know it sounds negative. It sounds negative. And, I've said this to Koji a couple of times, and he always comes back with, dude, you're going to be here for a really long time. You're going to do this and that and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, of course, yes, that's what I would prefer. But the way I look at it is everything is possible. Anything is possible. And so whatever happens, I'm just going to be okay with it. I mean, obviously, if I weren't here anymore, I think that that's true for any of us. If any of us die today, tomorrow, or 50 years from now, after that time, after that point, we're not going to care. And it's highly likely, and this is what I believe actually, that after that point, we wouldn't want to come back. We wouldn't want to be here. That's just how I feel. So to me, yeah, I don't want to die anytime soon. I don't want this to beat me, and I don't want this situation to beat me. And if I don't make it through, I don't necessarily think that the situation beat me as much as this was just my time to go. It sounds negative maybe to some people, but that's not really the way I look at it, because to me, death is just a change. It's just a change for my spirit, who I really am. This body, this physical body that seems to be kind of breaking down and disagreeing with me right now. It's just kind of a vehicle, in my opinion. It's just a temporary physical vehicle. 27th anniversary of your 21st birthday. Very interesting. Very interesting. That thought never crossed my mind, but it's very interesting. Anyway, wow, we just hit 1 hour. I definitely didn't mean for this to go on for that long, but, you know, here we are. For those of you who have been sitting through all of this, like Glenn and Koji, I think you're the only two guys that have been here like since the beginning and watched this whole thing. I absolutely love you guys, and I appreciate your dedication. You know, there have been some people, and I did talk to you, Glenn, a little bit about this a while back, but there have been some people to come into my life, some who were subscribers and became kind of friends, and then they just disappeared. If you're familiar with the term ghosting, they just kind of came in, and I thought we were close, and then I don't know, something about me or my situation or something just turned them off, and I just wasn't either wasn't the guy or wasn't living the kind of situation or doing the kind of things that they really wanted, and then they just kind of disappeared. And that's fine. I mean, this happened a few times to me. There were some times where it hurt a lot more than the ones that happened more recently. I mean, I've had much worse situations, so stuff like that doesn't bother me so much more. It's more like water off a duck's back. I just wish, for their sake, they would handle those situations in a much better way, because if they don't, then it's only gonna come back to hurt them in their relationships later on. So, not really hurting me as much as them. I just wish that people wouldn't treat others like that. We deserve better, right? Koji says, everything is nonsense. My dad has been 15 for quite some time. Well, I've learned a lot of stuff, and I've been to a lot of places, and I've had a lot of experiences, and I've been through a lot of what we would call adult things. It's a lot of things that haven't been easy, including this situation. And I don't mean the ladies talking. I mean my situation here at the hospital. But on the inside, though, I still feel like a kid. I feel much younger in many ways than I really am. I still have my curious, inquisitive nature. I want to understand things. I highly value truth and justice and those things. And when I don't get those things, or I see other people, weak people, children, or helpless people not get justice or truth or fairness, it really threatens to bother me. And I understand that things are the way they are for a reason. I'm not one of those guys that's going to shake his fist and say, "Why, God, why?" or blame God for nonsense. Because to me, nonsense is just the perception of something being nonsensical, and not necessarily really nonsense, just my perception of it being nonsense. So, what's the point in getting upset about it? Once again, it reminds me of, I can use a baseball analogy where the guys, and I always think about this because I've watched so many baseball games since I've been in the hospital. I've been watching the playoff games, the MLB playoff games, especially my team, the Astros. They just won and advanced to the American League Championship Series for the 7th year in a row, which is really awesome. But if you watch baseball, and even if you don't, I can tell you the batters, they get up to bat, the pitcher throws the ball, and it's either going to be a strike or a ball, and the umpire will call strike or ball. And sometimes the batter thinks that's incorrect. And so they will argue with the umpire, or the coach will come out of the dugout and argue with the umpire, or the pitcher will argue, or the catcher, somebody will argue with the umpire because they disagree with the call. But do you know how many times I've actually seen the umpire change the call How many times do you think I've seen the umpire say, "Oh yeah, you're right. That was not a strike," and then change it to ball, or say, "Oh yeah, you're right. That was not a ball. That was a strike," and then change it to a strike? Do you know how many times I've seen that my whole life? Zero times. Zero. I've never seen it. And the reason is because it doesn't happen. Even if the umpire makes a really, really, really terrible call, he's not going to just change it. And so, to me, the lesson there is, what's the point in throwing a big fit and getting upset and arguing if it doesn't change anything? May as well just be calm, step back into the batter's box, and try again. No reason to get upset. Koji says, whatever the situation turn out to be, know that we all love you. I love you too, Koji, and I think you know that. I'm pretty sure you know that. And I love you all. I appreciate you all. No matter what you've done for me, whether it's just watching my videos like a ghost and not saying anything, even that helps me. Commenting always is nice, liking videos, sharing. Some of you have taken the time to come here and see me or help me out. Several people have come over here. Glenn came over here to help out. Evelyn came over here a couple of times to help out. Um, Last week, one of the ladies from the cafe in Toyosaka came here. She brought me some momiji manju, and she gave me 5,000 yen, and I was totally blown away by that. I did not expect that, but the people in Toyosaka, the ladies at the cafe, they worried about me, and they know that my van is parked there, and so she came to check on me all the way to town. Can you believe that? I wasn't expecting that. Just really cool, really cool. Philippe, don't look in a mirror, and you can young forever. Look. Maybe from now on, when I do these videos, I should point the camera the other direction so that I don't have to look at myself. I just a big screen with my face in it. Koji says, "Where are the cute nurses?" Oh man, I wish I could show you. If I go upstairs where my room is and I start trying to film, they'll freak out. But right now there aren't too many because it is the evening, and the staff is very small right now. Maybe just 2 or 3 nurses up there right now. Glenn says they're upstairs waiting for me. Yeah, well, actually, I'm sure they are waiting for me to get back to my room because they're going to have to check me again before I go to sleep. And if I'm not up there when they go around to do the check, then they'll come find me. They see me walking down the hallway, they'll come grab me and say, "We need your temperature. We have to check your blood pressure." Wow, nice lady. And yes, guys, actually, one of the main things about being here at the hospital that's been really cool is just having the nurses take care of me, because like I said before, they've not only been wonderful and great and caring, and I don't I'm going to write a letter soon and submit that to the admin here about how wonderful the nursing staff has been, because they really have helped me. I mean, when I was in pain and I first got here, I know it sounds ridiculous, but I couldn't shower by myself. They had to take me in there and help me. They had to take me in a wheelchair down to the shower room. It's like a big room, and actually help me get from the wheelchair into like a bathing wheelchair, and wheel me into the shower and help me bathe. I couldn't do that. That's how bad I was a month ago. And basically for like the first 2 weeks maybe, they had to help me to some degree just to wash myself, I mean, I didn't take bed baths. I could go to the shower room, but it was so painful. I could barely move. Now I can go down the hallway and I can schedule my own shower, and I can walk in there and shower myself and change myself and all that kind of stuff. I don't need any help. But I even needed their help to change clothes. Even after I got out of the shower and dried off, They had to help me stand up and help me put on my shorts and my shirt. I couldn't do those things. Isn't it ridiculous? This is the kind of condition that I was in. And I mean, here I am now, able to get around, and I'm hoping that I never go backwards, because I had one time after a couple weeks I started to feel better after several days, and it just so happens to be the same day that my sister yelled at me on the phone. That same exact day, I went backwards. I'd made a lot of progress, and then suddenly that day, it's like I went back to a week before. All the pain came back. I went from being able to kind of get around with the walker and walk around to being right back to immobile. And I just cut my sister off. I told her I thought I could trust you, but I guess it's obvious I can't. And I cut her off, because how stupid is that? You haven't talked to your brother in a really long time. He reaches out and contacts you because the doctors say you need to have contact with your family. And I tell my sister the seriousness of my situation. I'm lying in bed in pain, and then I get her on the phone, and she decides to start lecturing me about the situation with my daughter. I have a situation here at the hospital, and the relationship between me and my daughter is none of my sister's business at all. But she decided to bring it up. Instead of asking me, how are you doing? Are you okay? She starts telling me about how upset she is that I'm not talking to my daughter. And I tried to get her to just stop and realize it's none of her business. But she started yelling at me. So I had to hang up the phone and block her. That's my family. So, sorry, I don't want to talk about that anymore. That's negative. Um, yeah, wow, that's amazing. Such a sweet person. Lots of sweet people here at the hospital. And things would be really, really difficult. I mean, I'm not saying they've been easy, because I'm kind of taking it for granted right now. The way I feel right now, I don't feel great, but compared to the way I was a few weeks ago, I do feel great. I mean, but the amount of help and care and everything that the nurses have shown has been great. The fact that many of them look cute helps. I mean, they have on masks 99% of the time, so I don't really know what they look like, but so many people here in Japan in general, when you're out in public and stuff, and many people wearing masks, it's like here, everybody's a 10, almost everybody looks beautiful up here. So all you see is their eyes and their forehead and their hair. It's like, wow, she's beautiful, but you don't really know because you can't see the face. So whenever all the nurses come in, it's like, oh, they're all beautiful. But occasionally you would see some pull their mask down when they're talking in the translator, and you could see them. And it was nice to see some faces. It's nice to see people's faces. Glenn says, when I was there, the interaction with the nurse was funny. She was cute. Yeah. Yeah, there have been some nice nurses. I mean, I've been in the hospital in the U.S. a couple of times for surgeries, and there were some really wonderful nurses there. And I know a couple of them. A couple of them were married to some friends of mine, and they were really good and caring people. But you've also got some, really brusque nurses sometimes that would come in and kind of rough you, the way they handle you and stuff. And America's not perfect. No place is, but it does seem to me like there are too often medical staff in the U.S. that will mishandle patients and be a little too rough with them. And I felt like sometimes, overall, my experience was, I would say, 60% good and 40% undesirable when I was in the hospital there, as far as dealing with the nursing staff. But here, it's like, I would say, I can't say 100% because it's not perfect, but I would say 99%, 99% positive. I haven't had a single issue with any of the staff. So, I mean, issue with the one nurse who didn't, like I said, the policies and procedures thing that we talked about earlier. If you listen to that part, she was hung up on the policies and procedures, and that's why she wouldn't agree to let me take a hot bath in the tub, because she just couldn't see, since it was not what they normally do and that's not what they normally allow. She just couldn't open her mind to the possibility of me being able to do that. So she just said no. And when I wanted to know why it wasn't possible, she didn't have a reason, okay? Because they've given her no reason. So the reason she gave me was that the tub is old. Uh, um, I've heard excuses, because these are not reasons, okay? I've heard reasons like this many times while being in China and Japan. And I feel like, I don't know if it's because they're dealing with foreigners, and I don't know if they do that to each other. Uh, but when they know the policy or the way that they normally do things, but when you ask them why not, why can't we do it differently, or why can't we omit this, or why can't we make a change, or whatever, sometimes they don't know. But instead of just saying, I don't know, that's just what they told me we have to do, or saying, well, you're right, Brandon. Yeah, you should be able to do that, and I don't know why we can't, but I'll find out. It's like they don't want to deal with all of that. They don't want to deal with all that trouble, so they'll just come up with the first excuse that they can think of and then throw that out there. And it comes out so ridiculous, because that's not the real reason. It's just they don't know what to do, and they just want to get away from the conversation as quickly as possible. So they'll throw out some of the most ridiculous excuses sometimes. And that's happened to me many times since I've been here. And even in China, I've had to deal with the same kind of thing, where it's like, I don't want to have to deal with this question or this situation, and I don't know what to say. So I'm just going to say something ridiculous. And maybe even sometimes it's kind of like an indirect way of saying, it's not going to happen, just let it go. It could be. But her response was, the bathtub is old. And it's no older than the shower, or the shower room, or any of the equipment we're using in there. It's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But I did talk to the doctor about it again later on, and basically what he said was, they are trying to say that they're worried about infection. I can get it if I have open wounds or something like that, or if special patients are using the tub and they don't want me to get in the tub because it might cause an infection for someone else, or maybe I get infected from them. But nobody is using the tub, and I don't have any open sores or any type of danger of infection in those regards. So it's really a non-issue. So basically, I haven't been presented with a good reason for why I can't have a hot bath. But sadly, I have to kind of give up on that issue. I can't have a hot bath, not here. So what I do sometimes is, when I go to take a shower, I don't shave. Instead, I just turn the hot water on in the shower, and I have 30 minutes during my shower time before I have to be out for the next person. So I just sit down on the chair, and I turn the hot shower on, and I let the hot water rain down on me, and I just enjoy it. I just sit there and relax under the hot water. It's the closest I can come to sitting in the hot bath. But they can't stop me from doing that, so that's good at least. Anyway, it's not too late here yet, because they've still got the lights on. Late at night, they will turn these lights off all the way around. But anyway, I think that's all for now. Um, Coach, you said put the lids on it. It's bad for your energy flow. Yeah, that's right. Um, Glenn says when I was there, oh yeah, you already said that. You have another one. Wasn't going to let me see him. Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Whenever, for some reason, if any of you watching think, I might try to swing by and see Brandon and cheer him up or something like that, remember that you can't just come in here. It's not like it might be at a hospital you're used to. You can't just show up and go to my room and visit me. You can't do that. There is a way around that, but whenever Glenn came here, he asked and he contacted them about, he was bringing some stuff to me and he needed to get my key and some things like that. And basically their policy is no, and it's mainly because of COVID, which of course is the excuse for everything here in Japan. It's blamed for everything. Prices are going up. Shipping costs more. Why? It's because of COVID. Well, we can't do that. Why? Because of COVID. Well, you can't do that. You have to do this. Why? Because of COVID. You can't come in and visit the patients and go up to the room. Why not? Because of COVID. It's the catch-all excuse for everything. So, um, interestingly enough, I can just put on my mask, leave my room, go down the elevator, and come down here to the first floor and go to the cafe where all of the people from the outside are going in and coming in and out. That's okay. But visiting me, no. If you're going into my room, I can see where you can't do that because there are 3 other patients in there. Up to 4 people can be in one room. And if I have other patients in there, in my room, then I can understand that you can't go in there. But there is a lobby, and there is a space right by the elevator, or they could just tell you, hey, Glenn is here, Koji's here, whatever, someone's here to see you. You can go downstairs to meet them. They could say that, but they don't. They just say you're not supposed to visit. But it's okay for me to go downstairs and go to the konbini, the convenience store, or the cafe, and be around all the people that are coming in and out. Once again, we have a policy or procedure that makes absolutely 0 sense. Instead of creating a policy that makes sense, like I just mentioned, let's have a policy that makes 0 sense and try to stick to that. But the way that you can get around that I get around that, is to just find out when somebody's going to visit, and then I just come down to see them in the cafe, and it's no problem. See? Easy. But anyway, I think that's a good place to end it for now. Thank you guys again for watching, and appreciate your continued support. Positive thoughts, positive comments, prayers, even watching my videos. As of right now, I'm down to about 130 hours. I need about 130 more watch hours to get monetized on my channel. That has been going down. It had gotten up to like 260. Then it stayed around 160 for a while. Then it finally got to 140, and now it's about 130. So the more you watch my videos, the more those watch hours get whittled down, and once it gets to 0, or those hours that I need, that means I'll be over 4,000 watch hours, and I'll get monetized, and probably I don't know, maybe I'll make from $20 to $30 an extra per month right now, but even helpful for me. So anyway, love you all. Thank you for joining, and as always, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you, and Jane.